AFC playoffs, and one team they are chasing, the Houston Texans. Oh boy, they beat down the Chiefs on Sunday night. ESPN Analytics gives Houston an 88% chance to make the playoffs. The Texans, get this, had just an 11% chance prior to their current 5-game winning streak. Dan, The defense gets most of the attention, understandably so. They are nasty. But what have you seen that you like from the offense as well of late?
So last week it was the pocket movement by CJ, and this is not just last week, but it's been their trend for a couple weeks now. It's their 6th offensive lineman offense. Okay, so it's not just their run game, but I do like the fact that it's allowing them to be somewhat efficient in their run game. 6 offensive linemen. Blake Fisher, the second-year player from Notre Dame, comes in for the tight end position. I think it allows the double teams to be a little bit more sound, them to at least get the run started. That's been a huge deal. This past week, they implemented a little bit more of the play-action stuff. Why does that matter? Because then, one, you can block a defensive end one-on-one with the tight end, that 6th tackle, and then that shores up the 5 offensive linemen, essentially blocking only 3 defensive linemen, gives you the chance to push the ball downfield. 6 offensive linemen, again, down in the goal line, the red zone, the inside the 5-yard line area, where so often defensive lines slant. Tight ends get beat on the inside. Having the body presence just confirms the win at the line of scrimmage. And this is an offense that doesn't need to be explosive all the time. It doesn't need to create a ton of big plays. It just can't be negative play dominant. I think that kind of core part of who they are offensively at least gives plays the chance to get started and then some shots down the field. CJ's a good enough player to make up for the other parts. I think their offense is good enough to make a playoff run.
Yeah, the best part of this conversation that we're having now is that we're not talking about the interior of the offensive line getting devastated. And they've created that, to your point, Dan. I like his non-built-in quarterback movement as well. There were several times when he was able to evade pressure, step up in the pocket, and make plays pushing the ball down the field. And if you guys remember coming out of college, this was the question that he had until he played late in the playoff game, I believe, and he showed some of this movement. But this is what it's going to have to be at times for the Houston Texans. You love that he's back healthy, play breakdown, he's able to get outside of the pocket. Chris Jones at times should have had CJ dead to rights, but his athleticism bailed him out on a lot of plays. And these are the type of plays that we all know you're going to have to make if you want to make a playoff run, like you mentioned, Dan. So I was very impressed by that. His poise, but also his mobility and ability to go above and beyond the X's and O's and extend plays and make plays down the field with his arm.
Yeah, you guys talked about the competence of the offensive. All we need is competence from the offensive line. Dan, the 6th offensive line, helps them get things blocked up. Marcus, you talked about CJ making plays outside of structure. Something that I've loved is just how relentless they've been about attacking the middle of the field. CJ Stroud in his last 4 starts has more in-breakers as a percentage of his throws than any starting quarterback at the moment in football. And on those throws, 42% of his throws are in-breakers. And on those throws, he leads the entire NFL in success rate. He leads the NFL in APA per dropback. He's averaging 12 yards per attempt. CJ is very good at throwing those balls, and he has 2 monsters at receiver right now. Like, when we think about the identity passing game, the first thing I think about, 6'4" Nico Collins, 6'4" Jaden Higgins. On those, and in the deep digs, we think about Collins all the time, of course, but even like the slants, the quick stuff, they use their frames to box out smaller defensive backs. You saw that in Kansas City, who has a good secondary, but they just can't physically match up with those guys. And to me, that feels like an identity that they can build around because, this is an offense that at the beginning of the year looked completely like it did last season. Now it feels like they're gaining some momentum.
And MK, to your point, like having both of those big guys, but even in that Kansas City game, there was a few opportunities that he had to connect with Christian Kirk that they weren't able to make happen. But you could see some potential big play stuff that could transpire between both of those guys as well with Kirk in the slot. I think they can be really good offensively, y'all. It starts clicking the right way, and they continue to protect CJ. I think this can be a big play offense.
And they've got that 5-game winning streak. Look at the next 4 games they have to close out the regular season. The Cardinals, Raiders, Chargers, Week 18 against maybe the Phillip Rivers-led Colts.